When was the first time you stopped and thought, no matter how far I climb the ladder, I'm still trying to prove I belong here? Prove it in the interview, prove it in the performance review, prove it every friggin' day just to keep your tech job. But what if companies had to prove to you that they're worth working with? That's exactly what happens when you become a premium consultant. This isn't freelancing or billing people hourly for whatever random work they want done. You decide who to work with, what to work on, and they sign your contract. Look, I also got put through the corporate grinder for the first 10 years of my own career. But then I consulted with more than 20 companies in industries like finance, healthcare, and energy. And along the way, I learned how to position myself as a trusted advisor. And for the last few years, I've been helping other developers make the same shift from employee to specialized consultant, where they finally take control of their own career. In this episode, I'll show you the exact 10 steps people go through to do this. I help people make this transition safely while still working their day job until they're ready to go all in. The first step is so obvious, I felt stupid for taking so long to see it. About 10 years ago, I was sitting at a conference room table right here in downtown Austin. 5 other devs were there, and we were all listening to the CEO of this new startup. We were hired to build his product, and he was just buzzing with energy. At one point, he goes, "Hey guys, this product is projected to make millions in its first year, and you all should be proud to be part of it." But I just sat there thinking, proud? You want me to be proud of making you rich? I looked around the table, 5 other devs, all stone-faced, and I wondered, is anyone else buying this? That's the moment it hit me. I've been making money in tech the wrong way. Because if my work could make millions for someone else, getting paid by the hour made no sense. The problem wasn't my skill set, it was how I was selling it. And that's what most developers don't realize. They think what makes them valuable is knowing the latest technology. But there are thousands of consultants all over the world doing the opposite. They're earning top dollar from solutions that aren't really that innovative. They've just learned one thing the others haven't: how to measure the business impact of their work. The good news is you don't need to learn any new tech skills to start doing this. Whether you're a developer, manager, doing DevOps, QA, or AI, everything we do ultimately boils down into 4 types of business value. So first, just write down a list of the proudest moments in your tech career. They've all had different impacts on the business. Then assign a business value to each of them. The first type of value we create for a business through our work is growth. Did you make it easier for customers to sign up or check out? Did you add data to the product so now the company can get customers in a new region? Or maybe you enabled something marketing or sales needs. The second type of value is efficiency. Did you automate a manual process that was wasting the company money? Did you maybe help the team deliver the software faster? Or did you clean up technical debt that'll save time over the long run? The third type of value is risk and compliance. Did you make it possible for the company to pass like a SOX compliance audit? Or maybe you encrypted sensitive data so nothing private gets exposed to hackers? Or maybe you expanded the test coverage so less bugs make it into production. And the final type of value is user satisfaction. Did you make it possible for customers to provide feedback on the product? Are customers going to leave probably better reviews and ratings because they like the product better? Did you improve the performance or maybe the usability of the product so customers have a better time with it? I hope at this point you're seeing something different, and maybe for the first time. You've created business value in many different ways. Technology was just a tool you used to do it. And by the way, if this is the day you'd like to stop dreaming about working for yourself and make this real, check this out. I created a workshop that runs over 4 evenings. You'll create a premium consulting offer with me and other tech professionals in a group. It runs several times a year. So if you'd like to start owning your career in tech today, click the link in the description and sign up. So now you've mapped your work to business value. Nice. Next, you'll want to narrow it down. This is the place where perfectionism can kick in. As software developers, we're often expected to write perfect code somehow before it goes into production. But any entrepreneur is going to tell you there is no way to know for sure which of your offers is best. You've got to just pick something you want to do and start offering it to people. So when you talk to potential clients, you're going to find out right away what might need to change. And that's totally normal. At this point, don't overthink your offer. Just look through your list and ask yourself, is there anything here I could see myself doing multiple times? You're looking for something repeatable, something you can do for many different clients. You'll get to improve it and expand on it over time, but this is the time to just trust your gut. Once you've picked an offer to start with, next figure out who would want to buy this. In consulting, someone who might buy your offer is known as a prospect. A prospect is just somebody at a company who might need the offer that your problem solves, a prospective client. Your prospect could be a product manager, a team lead, a director, or any tech job, really. You can ask an LLM to help you research the right person here even. But basically, you want to look for somebody who has some real pull in the organization. Developers, for instance, aren't usually good prospects. They may have problems, but they don't have a budget to spend. Your prospect should have the influence or power, basically, to get a contract signed so you can actually come in and do the work. I remember back in high school learning about the gold rush of the 1800s here in the United States. Prospectors were people who looked at plots of land and they tried to guess whether gold was on the property. Well, once you know who your prospect is, next you need to figure out where do they hang out. These days, pretty much everyone is on LinkedIn, so that might sound like a safe bet. But there are other places that can be even better. Focus groups, professional organizations, and subreddits are just a few examples. But just do your best to pick somewhere to find people who might need your offer. Over the years, I've had to prospect many times to find people to buy the technical services that I offered. It felt awkward and slow at first, but I got better at it, and you can too. The important thing is just you got to get started. Without prospects, there is no money to be made. Now, once you've found a prospect, you need to initiate a conversation with them. How you talk to them really depends on where you found them and what started the conversation. But just try to be natural, helpful, and respect the norms of the social network or the group that you met them in. But the important thing is to eventually invite them to a Zoom or phone call. This is where engineers start feeling like imposters, talking to real companies. But remember, you're not jumping through interview hoops hoping that they hire you. They are jumping through your hoops hoping that you solve their problem. After a little back and forth between you and your prospect, invite them to a call. The purpose of this first call with your prospect is to pre-qualify them. That's just a fancy way of saying that you'll figure out if they're really right for your offer. You ask them about their problems, you take notes, and you figure out how important solving the problem really is to them. By the end of the call, you invite them to another call that takes place in a week or so. The really good news about having a new offer is that it doesn't have to be perfect. When you meet with prospects and ask about their problems, they'll tell you exactly what they want, but you get to decide if you even want to do that or not. That's the great thing about being a premium consultant. If a prospect needs help with something you don't do, just refer them to someone else or politely decline. Now, if you do want to work with them, you got a bit of prep work to do. Have you ever heard the advice that you should personalize your resume for each company before you apply for a job? Well, this is great advice for making new offers too. So before you show up for the next call with a prospect, look over the notes you took from your first meeting with them. If there's anything you'd like to add or remove from your offer, do it right then. That'll make it much easier for them to buy. Now, there's just one more thing you need to do to personalize your premium consulting offer to a prospect. Decide how much money do you want to charge them. The best way to do this is find a white paper, a study, or other publicly available research that answers this question. How much money is it worth to the prospect if I help them with this problem? And then charge them a percentage of that. Let me show you an example. Let's say you find some study that shows the average company saves $50,000 when they do what you provide in your offer. 10% of $50,000 is $5,000. So that could be your asking price. Here's the thing. The percentage you charge doesn't always have to be 10%. It can be higher or lower based on several other factors. But the main point I'm trying to make is this. You're not charging them an hourly rate. You're asking for a percentage of the results. This is how you can make $300 per hour or more easily. Ever get an email from some company selling a developer tool promising to make your job easier? They tell you what it does, how it works, and often there's a demo or trial account. You didn't get angry for receiving that email. You just decided if you wanted their offer. Selling a premium consulting offer is no different. In modern society, we tend to look at salespeople as slimy and manipulative. But that's only when they try to push products onto people that don't want to buy them in the first place. At this point, your prospect has a problem they desperately need you to solve. And you've come up with a price that's very transparent and reasonable. So there's no pushing necessary. It's a purely logical decision at this point. Do they want the outcome your offer provides? If the answer is yes, you give them a contract, they sign it, and you get to work. The biggest difference between doing work as an employee versus a consultant is this. As an employee, we're often thinking, how's this going to make me look? Or is this going to get me promoted? But that's because you're trying to get rewarded and grow within the same company. When you offer a premium consulting service, you want to grow by working with different companies. So you should actually be thinking, how is this going to make my client look? And is this going to get them promoted? For the first half of my career, I was a workaholic, and I had a manager who taught me how to play politics. So as embarrassing as this is to say, I would usually only do something if I knew it was going to get me ahead. The irony in this is the same stupid, short-sighted approach to work is exactly why people often stab me in the back in the office. But when I got help for my addiction to marijuana and found Jesus 5 years ago, everything changed. There's this story in the Bible where right before Jesus is betrayed, he has a big meal with his disciples. And even though he's their leader, he washes their feet. Jesus was teaching them that what makes them great is not their position. It's how they serve each other. All the normal games and image management you're tempted with as an employee, it goes right out the window when you're a premium consultant. It becomes about one thing: serving your client and delivering the result. If you're like me and you hate corporate politics, you're going to love this type of work. So you delivered, your client is ecstatic, and you got paid. What next? Well, before you bail to find your next client, don't forget the most important part of business development: getting a testimonial. As an employee, I'm guessing you're used to waiting around for review time. You hope this is the year that they're going to say I'm doing well, or they're going to give me a promotion. But that's a reactive approach. When you're a premium consultant, you've got to take initiative to show off your own wins. You ever see those little logos on websites that show the other businesses a company has helped? Well, you want these, but better than a logo, you want your client to share what it was like working with you and the results they got. The more of these you collect, the easier it is to work with future clients. It's one thing to say you can help someone, but it's a whole nother thing for someone else to vouch for you. Social proof is a real thing. Don't skip this step. You did it. You made an offer, delivered it, and got a testimonial. You're already ahead of 90% of software developers who only dream about starting a business, but they never do anything. But what makes this truly a business is doing it again and better. You know how on Scrum teams, we often have these sprint retrospectives? This is where the whole dev team has a meeting with the product manager and all the other business people involved in our project. We discuss what went well, what problems came up, and how hopefully we can do better. Well, you are a business of one. Nobody's going to call a meeting to tell you how to improve. But this is an important part of becoming a successful premium consultant. Right after completing your work with the client, that is the perfect time to go over everything you've learned. Could you prospect differently? Was there anything about selling that could be improved? What problems did you run into while you were delivering your offer? I know as software developers, we like to complain about how companies are fake agile. This is where they say they're agile, but it's really just a bunch of empty process ceremonies. Well, here's a place where you get to actually experience being agile, but with your consulting business. And that's good news because as developers, we can often fall into perfectionism. But becoming a premium consultant makes this easier. You just take action, you see what happens, and you adjust next time. It's just like writing code, but instead of a compiler telling you what needs to change, your clients do. I hope this episode helped you put all these pieces together. This is stuff that honestly took me about 20 years of consulting to learn. Well, if you'd like to reduce the time it takes to do this, I've got a special opportunity for you. YouTube's great for sharing universal guidance, but everyone's career is a little different. That's why I created the Consulting Offer Workshop, and I'd love to see you there. In 4 evenings, I'll help you craft a premium consulting offer from the skills you already know. It's not just a process I teach. We actually do this live together as a group. You'll be designing your offer alongside other tech professionals just like you. So if you want to truly own your career and make your own success, click the link in the description and sign up.